back with this 50-foot flat trailer. If you follow the TikTok, you would have seen this last week. I did a chassis weld on it. Got loads of jobs done on it, but ran out of time. So she's done a week's graft, and we're back at it to mend this headboard. Now, I know what they say. A dream without a plan is just a dream. Now, I ain't got a plan for this, but I've got a welder. I'd like to say I've got an idea, but I haven't. So, the plan is to mend this crack. That's the plan. And the other side, there's a crack that side too, just there. What I'm gonna do is to start, I've dropped the truck, because we don't want to be frying no body computers or out like that, and the surge of electricity from the welder can do that. Believe me, it can. So, my plan is, I ain't got a plan, I ain't got a fucking clue what I'm doing. I'm gonna cut this bracket off, which I welded on about 8 months ago. Cut this off, get rid of that, get it cleaned up. And what I'd like to do is fix a bit of angle iron down here. So the strength's fairly good here, because it's got this wedge and these flitch plates. It seems to always go from here and above and then crack on this chock rail, because chock rail's made of cheese. So what I'm hoping to do is weld a bit of angle iron down here and fix it, weld it to this piece so it's got some rigidity, and then put in a new stay like this. I can't go much bigger. You could say, why don't you do a triangle here? Can't do that because the way they offload the bales in the power stations, they use a great big overhead crane and they grab them. And if I make these any bigger, these will be in the way from offloading it. That's why they're the size they are. So I'm going to start by cutting all this out, getting it cleaned up, and going from there. And that's about the extent of my plan at the moment. It'll come together, trust me. And with metal, if you make a mistake, that's what welders for. You just cover it up. Just weld your mistake up and go again. I ain't claiming to be a master at any of this, but I'll tell you what I am. I'm determined. There's no I can't fix eventually, you know what I mean? Master of fuck all me. So let's get at it and get these bits cut off, get it cleaned up, and form a plan as we go along. Let's go, champs. This is the extent of the crack the other side. So what's happened is this brace has done its job and it's broke above it. In the past I have bolted this bit of angle iron on to give it strength, but obviously when they push the bales up, they shove them from the back with a teleporter, which is pushing obviously a lot more load on the top. So it's this part flexing. So we need to address the strength from here above. So I think, like I said a minute ago, a bit of angle iron from there to there, or as high as I can get it, I don't know what lengths of angle I've got, is gonna help with that. So we've got this cut out, get this squared up best we can, so it's true-ish, and then start working on some strengthening pieces. Let's get grinding, kids. So the plan with this side is I've got that support cut out. I'm out of breath, man, swinging that sledgehammer. I've pulled the headboard straight as I can with this strap, which he uses. Now I'm going to grind all this flat, use some clamps to get that trued up, get that welded up along with all these cracks, get it looking straight, and then work on some strengthening pieces. So we'll deal with the damage first, get it looking something like presentable, and then we'll work on some strengthening pieces and go from there. That's the plan. That's the little plan I've got anyway. All right? Right. Let's keep grinding. doing a little bird shit because it's what I do best, really. You know what I mean? Here, look at that quality. She's a beauty, I tell you. We've got them cracks filled up. Apart from them ones, we'll do that in a minute. So we're not that back with a flapper. No one will ever know that I'm a shit welder when I finish with that thing. She's gonna be like a new one, tell you. She'll be good when I'm finished with it. Trust the process. So I've got this bit patched up, squared up the best I can. Filled in all the low spots and the cracks, knocked her back. I've seam welded around the headboard so it's not removable anymore, but it's going to add some strength. And then I've filled all the cracks around here. This ain't very pretty, but I'm not going to knock this back. It's red hot right now. I'm not going to knock it back because I don't need the clearance for anything, and leaving that big chunk of weld there is going to add strength because it'll obviously spread the load. I'm also going to put a brace bar in after. I'm going to mend the other side first, get it something like this, and then we're going to work on some strengthening bits. But yeah, I'll be putting a brace bar in there which will kind of hide all of that anyway. Not that it matters. Form over function. No, function over form. You know what I meant. You know what I'm on about, don't you? You know what I'm on about. So yeah, that's that side patched up. And I'm going to move on to this side and do something very similar. So get it trued up and welded. See what we can do with it. This side's not quite so bad, so it shouldn't take as long. Chuck some top quality weld on here. Go down. My fucking finger was getting hot then. Getting very hot. There's a water coming out of that bad boy. Fucking slag. Now I'm going to tell you the trick to a top quality weld. You ready? So the trick to top quality welding is flap disc and paint, because that way you can cover up these shitty welds. No one knows. Top tip. There we go. We're going to put a bit more pigeon shit on this, knock it back, and then put some strength in. I'm basically just welding up the spider cracks. And then we'll knock it back flat, so no one knows I've been here. That's the plan. That's all that welded up. Now I'm going to have a cup of tea, and then we're going to start working on some bracing for strength. And before you say it, my 10-year-old could weld better than that. Can your 10-year-old ride a push bike? Because if he can and get himself here in the morning, he's got a job. I'm at cups of tea and sweep up. I'm not bothered. I'm easy. So send me an email. Cup of tea time. So if you follow me from the TikTok, you'll know that I like to make good from old, because everyone deserves a second chance. I've got loads of bits of old angle iron from a job we did in one of the hangars we own. The company own, not me. There used to be rails to keep the fork trucks in between the racking, away from the racking, so they couldn't crash into it. So a lot of them are bent. I've got a few straightish bits, but my plan is to use a bit of old angle iron and fit it. I'm not bothered about this piece because it never cracks here. It cracks here, so we're going to do something here. But my plan is to put a bit of angle iron from here upwards at least halfway, because we don't have any problems at the top. There ain't much weight up there. So put some angle iron up there to work with this piece, so it should give it some rigidity. And if I can shape it round here, weld it as part of this, it's gonna obviously spread the load between this plate and the angle and stop it from wobbling. And then we'll put a piece in here, something in here, I'm not sure what yet, so we can put that triangle brace back in, and hopefully that'll give us a fighting chance of keeping it in one piece. But all the patchwork's done. I've done that on this side and that side now. So we're going to do some measuring and some cutting, see if we can find some decent bits of angle, and get a scent, you know what I mean? This is what I've decided on. It's a bit of angle iron. I've clamped it and then tacked it in place. Comes round there. So I'm going to seam weld it all. I have cut off a bit of meat off the back of it just to keep it looking neatish, so it doesn't stick out too proud at the back. But yeah, I'm going to seam weld down there, under there, over that plate, and then up the other side. So that should add plenty of strength in, and then I'll put this brace bar back in and repeat on the other side. That's the plan. Got that welded up. Definitely shouldn't have used galvanized steel. I thought I had ground enough galv off, but clearly not. So the other side, I'm not using that piece of steel again. I'll be using a normal bit of steel because it was horrible to weld. You can weld galvanized steel, you just got to knock it back, but it obviously gone right into the metal. Made it a nightmare. So that's that bit done. Now I'm just going to put that bar back in, and this side's done. Just want painting. Oh no! Run out of wire gauge. Run out of MIG wire. I've searched high and low, found aluminium wire, and I found some 1.2 mil wire. I've drilled out my fittings, made it fit, but it's just not right. It's not welding right. It's that old. It was on the shelf. So basically, the job's come to a halt. It's Sunday. I need to clean all that shit off. I'll do that in a minute. So I can't get none. Basically, can't get no welding wire. I've rang the lads on the estate. They're all shut up for the day, so there's no more I can do. Thankfully, I got it patched up, so we can use it tomorrow. It's not perfect. I'm not very happy about the situation, but my fault. I ordered parts. I should have noticed that we'd used the last reel. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some. So yeah, we got the job patched up. I've chucked a bit of paint on it to stop it rusting. What I'm going to do in the meanwhile is I'm going to make up this side's bracket for Wednesday, when he's going to bring it back for me to weld these extra plates on. And I'm also going to order some flat plate to weld across here to basically cap off this gap. So I'm going to put a bit of flat plate across here to fill in this gap, just make it look a bit tidier. But for now I'm going to clean off this reflective tape where I've got some overspray on the lamps, fit 2 new working lamps on the side, and call it a day. Like I say, ain't really gone to plan, has it? But it is what it is. These are real life problems, aren't they? Stuff don't always go to plan. But she's better than she was. Not quite as good as I hoped it would be. Anyway, that'll do for today. So make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much. In a bit.